Hi everybody, I'm Kevin Coupe and this is FaceTime with the Content Guy. Here's what's on my mind this Thursday morning. Did you know that this month marks the 70th anniversary of the release of Citizen Kane? That's amazing to me, 70 years. Citizen Kane is largely considered to be, if not the greatest American movie ever made, one of the greatest American movies ever made. And I always think that when I watch it, it's every bit as timely today as it was 7 decades ago. I mean, you look at it and the performances are great, and the cinematography is wonderful. The structure is really almost revolutionary for that time, going back and forth from decade to decade, as they spell out the story of Charles Foster Kane. But, Citizen Kane is a movie with a wonderful business lesson that I think is always worth paying attention to. And the business lesson basically is this. Charles Foster Kane, as he's portrayed by Orson Welles, starts out kind of being a man of the people. He has pretensions, at least, of being a man of the people. He says at one point that he chokes on his silver spoon. It's a great line, right? But as the movie goes on, Charles Foster Kane becomes more and more disconnected from the people, and he gets caught up in what are his own priorities, and he doesn't think of his customers' priorities. And it all sort of comes to a head when he's running for governor, and it's revealed to him by one of his political opponents that they have discovered that he's having an affair. And they give him an option. They say, listen, you can pull out of the race. We won't tell anybody, and it's only an embarrassment to you and your wife. Or if you don't drop out of the race, we're going to tell everybody. It's going to be all over the newspapers. And Kane, who's arrogant and so focused on his own needs, says, I don't care, I'm going to run, I'm not a regular politician, the people will still elect me. Well, of course he's wrong. And that's the beginning of the end for Charles Foster Kane, who ends up alone and isolated in Xanadu, which is his estate. And, he never really lives up to the potential of his beginnings. You could say the same thing, quite frankly, about Orson Welles, right? He never lived up to the potential of Citizen Kane. None of his other movies were ever as great as that one. It's like the old Woody Allen line. Didn't he say something like, it is the fate of all great artists to have people say about them, I prefer the early stuff, right? Anyway, the business lesson of Citizen Kane is that Charles Foster Kane lost touch with his customers. Okay? He lost touch with their priorities. He lost touch with what was important to them. And that's something that businesses can never afford to do. If we don't know who our customers are, if we don't know what our customers are buying, if we don't know what our customers are thinking, we don't know what our customers are feeling, if we don't understand their priorities in a fundamental way, we run the risk of losing touch with them. And for us, that could be the beginning of the end. That is the business lesson of Citizen Kane, worth paying attention to 7 decades after the movie was released. Anyway, that's what's on my mind this Thursday morning. As always, I want to hear what's on your mind. Have a great weekend, everybody.